And we are live. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old.
The season of pumpkin continues. This
Yes.
is the second last week. We've almost exhausted some of the options. It's sort of a nil pickings this year, would you not say?
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe, like you're saying, 4 that we can go about. I don't know.
I don't know if it's an Ontario thing or just people discover that, I guess people don't like this beer, so we can't produce it. We've had some winners. We've had some good ones.
Yeah,
And
yes.
what I'm really sad about is we've had some great suggestions from listeners. Thanks everybody who sent it in to us at our website, newdadgaming.com, or at our Twitter, at newdadgaming. So awesome going back and forth with some listeners, but unfortunately for a lot of them, we just can't.
I can't find it. I can't find it anywhere.
We'd have to go for a road trip, I think, and hit all the spots that Gaming Dad's been mentioning. Although with some people listening in Australia and England, hard
That's
to
fine. New Dad worldwide.
beer world tour.
Fire
Just
up
for
the jet, Trevor. Come on. Our budget can handle it.
Yeah, New Dad jet. I'll get right on that.
Let's go.
In these trying times. But we are marching forward. Jeff, you have another beer pick this week. What are you sipping on?
I am in the pumpkin patch again. I am with Flying Monkeys Theater of Madness. And Flying Monkeys is a local brewery here in Ontario, Canada. And this is the one that I initially did not like again. And I was like, maybe I just don't like pumpkins.
I'm
I'm
slowly
not sure.
coming to the realization that, in fact, I hate pumpkins.
Yeah, but no, as I get into it, I'm about halfway done. It's not bad. And I don't know if I've just adapted. But it's way better than the one I had last week. So I will say that it is very strong. It's very it's like a meal that you're eating. It's very thick. So
It's a pumpkin pie. It's great.
yeah, it's a lot. So I would say this is kind of like a one-off. Don't have multiple of this, obviously, but no, it's not bad. And again, I'm halfway through, so when the other half goes away, I'll let you know how that goes down. But it's not bad.
I think what I'm realizing with these is I think they would play really well if you're doing kind of a series of tours to craft breweries.
Oh,
where,
okay, yep.
You've done a bunch of lagers and ales now, and it's like, let's just try something a bit kind of crazy or different. And
Yeah.
these guys have a great pumpkin beer. So these type of things, I don't think I would rush out to buy just to have in my house and drink.
Right.
Unless you maybe kind of a party, it's something interesting. But when you go to a brewery and that's just something out of the ordinary, maybe you pick one up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just to break it up, right? So
Yeah,
that's a
perfect.
good spot for it.
So mine I approach with some great trepidation because it comes from one of my favorite breweries. So again, it's a local one here to Ontario, which really seems to be, unfortunately, our theme.
Yeah.
So hopefully any new dads who are listening, coming up to Ontario, we'll do a tour.
Right.
But this was Waterloo Brewing, one of my favorite breweries, and they launched a salted caramel.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a dessert.
Yeah, so I'm going more with a fall theme as opposed to strictly pumpkin this week. It's quite good. I'm finding that this year it seems like these breweries have really dialed it in so much as the pumpkin, or in this case salted caramel, is a discovery as opposed to the main feature. Like you take a sip and it's like, wow, my head just got slammed into a pumpkin.
Right.
It's much more like, oh, this is a pretty good beer. Is that a pumpkin I detect? Is this salted? does that have a bit of salted?
What is that? What does that taste? Pumpkin. Yes.
For audio listeners, we're both kind of squeezing our fingers and the index.
Got the monocle on. Hold on.
Yeah. What is this? What is this? But quite good. It tastes like a really decent porter, and then all of a sudden, just at the end, you kind of get this sweetness and a bit of that saltiness from very much a salted caramel. They nailed. It's kind of amazing. I'm trying to think about how you would make beer taste like this.
Oh wow, yeah.
But most of these folks are doing it and fairly good. So if you wanted something a bit seasonal, something of interest to have around a fire or along with pumpkin pie, I suppose. Waterloo salted caramel. Fortunately, they kept up their good standing because, this is one of my favorite breweries. So I was a little bit hesitant going in.
Yeah. No, that's a good. I think that would be good around like a fire fire pit, a nice hoodie on, drink one of these suckers out in the night.
There you
That's
go.
the area to do it. Not recording a podcast down in the basement.
Yeah. Not quite your exact good pick. But speaking of comfort foods and comfort situations, I would like to wholeheartedly thank you for a comfort game, which like this was so fantastic. So Boomerang Foo, a couple weeks ago, Jeff had recommended it as something to check out. And he was so right.
Yay.
He did it. Everybody, Jeff has finally been right. It's only taken 199 episodes.
But who's counting, right? Yeah. Made it before 200. Well, I'm right. Yay.
Yeah, I guess I can't necessarily call it, given how competitive it is, I can't really call it comfort food. I'm pretty off on that regard. But I finally got my kids into it. And just, as you mentioned, they're just rolling on the floor.
Yeah.
Like this game is so perfect for couch co-op with younger folks. And here's why I think it is. Like there can be some, so for anybody not necessarily familiar with it, it is a battle royale of sorts, a very tiny isometric map, like super tiny square. So when I say battle royale, I'm not trying to say Fortnite. Mm-hmm. So very tiny arena. You are pieces of food. You are battling one another with boomerangs, which you can literally throw or use as a knife, blow them up into bits. When you slice the milk character, he falls apart, spills everywhere, coffee cup explodes, donut gets cuts in half. Just the animations are so key and perfect. So let me list down, because I'm excited about this one.
Good. Yeah.
Let me list why this is perfect for kids.
Nice. Okay.
Characters are cute.
Yep.
Adorable. Just like rip-roaring hilarious. The action itself is rewarding. It's fun, it's hectic, it's chaotic, but then the actual, like, when you slice through it, like, you know, the coffee cups explode, like I just mentioned, the banana, like, splits open. It's a riot. Like, that's what you want to see. Feels great that way. The chaos of it lends itself to everybody getting a chance to win. Right? There's certainly skill. You could get good at this game. Mm-hmm. You can have tactics and strategies, like you could be better than somebody. But even the best, at some point, is going to get hit by the worst.
Yeah.
Because with all the power-ups that come up, which you eventually do keep, like somebody will get an exploding boomerang, someone will get one that splits into like 10 different ones. You'll misjudge a map and you'll like fall off the side into a big puddle. Like there's just a whole bunch of happenstance and chaos that, despite how good you are at this game, you're probably going to lose at some point, which is great for playing with a kid because they're going to win. Right. In my case with my younger one, awful at the game.
Right.
But he still participated. He still won. When we were on a team, he got some of like the game winners. When he was competing against us, he would occasionally like take a match because we just like blow it. I don't know if you had the same thing with. It kind of feels like it levels out fairly well.
Yeah. There's a bunch of options to go through, and one of them is like if you lose a couple rounds, it'll give you a shield the next one. So it kind of gives you that like second hit to pick up that person that might be falling behind, and they want to keep them in the game. So that helped with my youngest because he can get really frustrated against his older brother, and when you have the shield, like you can melee, right? Because it takes 2 hits to get you. The other guy gets 1. So he picked up that strategy pretty well, and it just allowed him to keep playing the game. So it helped absolutely.
That is an awesome point. I'm really glad you brought that up. Like the balancing they do with whoever's losing is awesome. Extra power-ups, like Jeff just said, they get a shield. Like, so great. And it's just this tiny little game, super focused in what it does. Gorgeous art style. Just, man, I was so enthused, and we're having an absolute ball. That was an amazing recommendation from yourself,
Nice.
Jeff.
Yeah. Well, new dad gaming victory, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think so.
Can I award myself? No, but
Yes.
absolutely. This is a game that every gaming dad should own. And it's cheap. Like, it's not going to break the bank. Like, it's 15, 20 bucks. Yeah, so you're good off with it. It's great. It's just, again, cute's fun. It's not really violent unless you consider chopping fruit violence, but, it's a cute game. And a lot of maps, a lot of variety, at least I found.
Yeah,
So
no.
It kind of just keeps going. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's awesome.
Yeah, between that and the power-ups, like, it's just endless fun and, like, never quite the same between 2 matches. So
Yeah.
highly recommend for gaming dads. That's fantastic. So it sounds like your older brother acts as the spoiler for your
Yeah.
younger one. But it seems, speaking of sons, with my great transition skills,
That's perfect.
you have gotten into a scenario where your son is spoiling games for you because he's marching ahead and you're on your limited game dad time.
Right. This is where we're at now, Trevor. This is where like you do
This is what
so
we've become.
well, so well as a gaming dad that you train your kids to play video games so well that they get ahead of you in the game, and then they want to like come to you and say, "Hey, like look at my achievements, look what I've done," and blah blah blah. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Here's all the story stuff that you don't get to see yet, but hey, good job, son. But like again, my youngest is awesome at games. When he gets really focused, he will just carry it like all the way through. And one of them was a new one called Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and amazing game, again, adorable, something that he could play that's a little bit difficult, and offer him a challenge. But again, limited dad gaming time. I wanted to play it. And I made sure that like when he started it, I'm like, all right, you're on your profile, right? Because I don't want you to carry my progress because I'm going to be far ahead of you, right? But that's not what happened. He went on his profile and just like fired ahead, like lapped me. Like he's gone off. He's probably halfway through the game. I'm not even like past the tutorial area. So
How did this stop? Like, so he came to you with like, hey, do you know how, Johnny eventually kills his, and like, da 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 da. Like, was it like a hard stop, or was it like just too late and you just store at him with shock and couldn't believe it?
Well, I'm glad you asked because he grabbed my hand. He's like, "Oh, come look at this," right? Takes me to the PlayStation, and he knows how to capture clips now, right? Not a problem. And PlayStation's pretty good at doing that. Again, it's one button press. So he's like, "Hey, look at this," and like it's some end boss of some world that I'm like, "No." I don't even know he's got all the weapons. He's got like I don't know, like crazy weapons that I haven't even like thought of yet. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. But he's like, look at what I did. And it's a 2-minute clip and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Can we just pause for a second? He's like,
Can I not watch this?
Watch it all. So, I mean, I'm there to support him and I see it. I'm like, well,
So
I
that's even better. So he gave you like this terrible choice where it's like, all right, so I have to watch this. Sorry, I can't. It's not even necessarily a choice unless you're a bad father.
or walk away.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I could just tell my son to shove it and walk away and not engage in what he's super excited to show me, or I could just watch it, make him happy and proud, but then proceed to ruin the story for myself.
Right, it's like an RPG choice at that moment. It's like create a good memory or a bad trauma. So
Everybody but Jeff like that.
Exactly. That's our own little Fallout game. I love it. Yeah. So no, again, I'm proud that he's got so far into this game and he's loving it, and he can, it's got some pretty complex mechanics. But man, I'm just thinking like if he gets into like Final Fantasy games or Witcher, like if there's another Witcher down the road, and he's like 50 hours in, and he's like, hey, the person that you met at the beginning comes back and like kills you and stuff. And I'm like, no, like it's a lot of time, Trevor.
I love the new technology around it too, like saving a game clip. Because before, it's as if he took like scrubbed forward on Star Wars, and hey, Dad, come check this out. Like, Luke, I'm your father. It's like I am your father. It's like, why would you show this to me?
There you go. It's just really exciting. I wanted to show you. Oh, thank you. This is different than when you were 3 and you would show me like the red ball that you discovered. No, this is
it's like the nice like Yoshi drawing you made. Instead, it's just ruining a game for me. Cool.
Story spoilers. Got it. So that's happening, and it's just flashes of what's to come next. So I can only, maybe he's gonna pick up Dark Souls next and just beat the whole game and just tell me how it ends. I don't know.
I guess it really is a view into the future where if our kids continue in playing games and they, we purchase games for the house, ones that we want to play, and they have ample game time as kids as opposed to, jerk adults like we are.
Responsibility.
Yeah. Then they'll be able to get so far ahead and just have this weird dynamic where they're going to know everything. You're like, oh man, I really like how, Daryl is acting. You're like, you're not going to like it in a couple hours. Excuse me? Go to your room. What did you just say to me?
Exactly. Or maybe like it was like our talk of maybe last week or a couple weeks ago about watching streaming, and you just want to watch one of the gaming streams, and you're like, wait, that's my son that's doing it. What are you doing?
You look over behind. He's just like, in the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Do it. You're in his stream. You could see
That's
your own
just
bald head just shining in the background.
Hey, wait a minute.
What is that light in the back? Oh, that's
it's
my bald
me.
spot.
Okay,
I see.
get to bed. Right, that's it. But no, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just a gaming dad proud moment, but also like, oh man.
Just get used to spoilers. You know, there was a study shown that people who had plots spoiled for them and ended up enjoying the movie more.
Really?
Yeah, so people who found out the ending before they actually saw it ended up liking that piece of media more than people who were surprised by it. So perhaps he's doing you a favor.
It could be. I would like to see this study.
Prove your sources. I want to
Prove your sources. Man, that would, I don't know. It's a big conversation in my mind. Like, if I know the ending.
So speaking of some spoilers, for anybody who did not watch Nintendo Direct, they had one, and it would have been hard to miss because there certainly was a bit of controversy is too strong of a word, but it certainly got people talking when they released it, right? So did you watch this live, the Nintendo, live Nintendo event?
Yeah, I watched it live with my kids there because there was a lot there that was for them that they were looking forward to. Pokemon Snap and all that stuff. But when Nintendo's like, okay, here's some games, and now for our online service, like, hey, we're going to add some stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. This looks neat.
Hooray.
And for Nintendo Online, again, pretty cheap. Don't expect much, but they're like, hey, we're going to add Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then they're like, hey, for an added price. But, well, we'll get to that later. I don't know. I don't know how that looks, but they have a Nintendo 64 controller that they showed up on screen when they announced it. And my 8-year-old was like, Dad, what is that? I'm like, oh, no, that's the controller for the Nintendo 64. Like, he knows what the system is. And he's like, they would make it easier to play with, though, right? Because, again, it's like the tripod of controllers.
The Trident controller.
I don't know. It's never really been comfortable. You just kind of adapt to it. So I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, great big announcement from Nintendo. But it's like, again, one of those Nintendo moments where they add another tier to their online service that everyone thought was kind of in the trash.
I don't know how to react to this. I mean, because it's exciting, like awesome. Like I saw some of. I'll say that some of the titles. It'd be fun to go. Like it'd be great to play Star Fox. Another Mario Kart's always a welcome addition.
Yep.
Now Majora's Mask. Never got a chance to play that myself, so it'd be great to play it. Getting my son to play Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Awesome, right? Like, so you're seeing that list of titles. That's phenomenal. Some also Sega, like mending old wounds between these two previous competitors, and now Nintendo's just going to wear their corpse around like a trophy, I guess. But
yeah,
so cool. That's a lot of stuff. This would be great. But then the hint of like we're going to announce new pricing for this soon, or the way like it's listed here, new membership plan launching in late October. So it's not included in what I currently play for Switch Online.
No,
is that what you're saying?
Definitely not included. And I will say another thing that kind of burned my butt was Mario 64 was in there. I'm like, oh, don't you dare, because I bought that trilogy thing.
That's right. I have this already.
For a limited time, Nintendo, you took it off the shelves. You said, no more sales. Well, you're going to scoop in the first game into your online offering here. I get it. Now, next year might be the GameCube Mario Sunshine. Who knows?
Yeah, when eventually the GameCube for sure comes out, and you can also get it.
Yeah.
Each one being a tier. So if you want the... So you have the NES, SNES tier, and then you have the N64 tier, then you have the GameCube tier. Like, they just price, like, where are they going with this?
I don't know, and they don't
Sucks.
really... It's like a drip feed of games, right? So I had it for a full year, I think I got it... I don't know if I got it free. I don't think I paid for it. But they drip fed the Super Nintendo games. Like, when they came in, it was like maybe 3 or 4 every couple months, and then some of them were like very questionable. You're like, what? You have a library of 1,000 games. So like same with the Nintendo 64. I don't think GoldenEye will ever come to this, like considering like licensing and stuff around that. Like so the big name ones, like they're not. Are they? Was Perfect Dark part of that? Because that's weird with Xbox and Microsoft redeveloping that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I'm sure there's a licensing there because I know Microsoft is relaunching.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark for some reason. Like just...
yeah. So some big names are going to be left off this list that you're going to pay how much more for? Gold? Can I pay in gold coins?
It feels like such a shame because the thought that gaming dads like us could explore a legal, safe world of ROMs and like the games that we grew up on that like hold water and still great. Like, hey, let's discover the horse together in Ocarina of Time, just like I did. Like, this game is a classic. You'll like it.
Yeah.
So they just launched this library on this kind of charming little system, and then we can relive those moments with our kids.
Right.
So as a gaming that like the pitch is just, it's done. It's already sold. It makes total sense. But if they're gonna start being hack me about, but if you want the Majora's Mask, that's going to cost you this much of a tier, like every year. Then like, if you want some Sega games, now, like stack.
Yeah.
Like,
and
is
it
really
permanent?
callous? Like really callous.
Yeah. Like, and again, do these games go away eventually? I don't know. Like you subscribe and they're there for a bit.
Like, make your money. I get it. Like, I'm not trying to say like just give me this all stuff for free, but just the thought of like tiers, like hiding it between. Different degrees of paywalls depending on how much you can spend, like that really takes a lot of the fun out of this.
Yeah, and I've sang like praises of their online offering just with the family plan. I know it's not great, but at least they have a family plan that everybody can get online and everybody can like upload to the cloud and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now if this expansion pack only applies to like one profile, I'm like, okay. And I don't know if it does, but like now we're getting into weird like, this isn't family friendly kind of, it's not hard. It's just difficult to work. It's more complex. And now you're going to have my kid crying in the corner because he can't play Star Fox 64 on his account. He's got to go to my account.
Yeah.
I'm not getting this, but
so it's like, it was funny to discuss this because it actually really hit home for us because this week, my kids kind of discovered the SNES titles on our Switch.
Oh, that's fun.
So we had it for a while, and we kind of been playing a few of them, but like they really only got in now. With my kids right now, it's very much. I don't know if your kids went through a similar phase. It's really about novelty.
Okay. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's about like different games, more games. Like, let's play this one. Okay, now let's play this one. They're really not locking into one particular title.
Yeah.
For any massive long length of time. I got distracted by watching Donkey Kong for a second. So I have.
Did they like Donkey Kong while they're on Donkey Kong? Did they like it?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
It's so hard though.
Yeah, my kids just totally tapped out. They're like, "This is super difficult," or "It's not fair." They said, "It's not fair." So they went out. They did not play anymore.
Yeah, what ended up happening? They kept like it was great for me to keep playing because they kept saying, "Hey, could you beat this for me?" so they would lose like 3 or 4 Donkey Kongs and then proceed to like let me.
Right.
Take a stab at it and play. But just seeing them go through that library, it's been a ride. They played this. They played a bit of Joe and Mac.
Oh, that's a retro one. Wow.
Yeah, that was something. Like,
how does that one hold up?
Weird. I don't think it's the strongest title. You
No.
must be forgiven to thinking it's a NES. It is SNES, right?
I don't know. Now I'm looking at it. I'm like, if it was poor.
Yeah, no, it says Super Nintendo. That's what I mean. So it's not even like the greatest representation of Super Nintendo.
Of the system, yeah.
But to see them play it, like, it was awesome. Like, I was really pleased to see them go through the same kind of games I was going through.
Yeah.
They played Super Mario World too, and that one really struck at home. Like, we obviously just mentioned Donkey Kong, but Super Mario World, like, that is really hard.
Yes.
And unforgiving. Like, if you Dark Souls, like that was your term for it.
Yeah.
Is if you die, you lose all progress.
That's it. You're
no
out.
Continues, no saves, no like just here's 5 more lives like all the current Mario games go.
No.
It's just back to the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do all that again.
No mercy, man. I don't know. How would we live through this?
It's just like it's so painful. Just like, 'cause you spend like all of that time getting like trying to get some progress, and like you have to restart. And Mario World, like if I'm remembering correctly, it's pretty big.
It is pretty big. Yeah, it can be, and especially with the other paths that you can take, right? Like if you don't discover the other paths, then you have to go all the way around, and it can take a long time. So, good luck to you. I don't know. Hope you have save states or something.
I think they still get enamored with just the playing of it. So it's not so much about like, okay, they're trying to play it to beat it. They're just playing it because it's fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like at this current moment where they're at, it's fine because they'll die and they'll just kind of restart, get back to where.
Yeah.
But it really drives home with the current Marios, for instance. Mario 3D. I was gonna say 3D World. That's the same one.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
It was
trying to name them.
It's really difficult. It's an isometric one. It was, I think, initially on the Wii U. It came to Switch. It had like the
Super
cat
Mario
suit.
3D World.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Super. Okay, I guess like the one for this is embarrassing. Okay, I think for the one for SNES was just Super Mario World.
Right.
And then the one for the one I'm talking about is 3D Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
The one with the cat.
Let's go with that. Let's call it that.
I'm with you.
Sure. You know,
What's that
guys,
game?
Mario.
What's
the
going
Mario
on?
game? The Nintendo. You know Nintendo.
Play the Nintendo.
So they but they lose all their lives and just you come back out to the main world and just like, here's 5 more. Just like there's 2 of you, fine, 5 more each. Here, take 10. Just keep going.
Have fun.
It was so much better. It's just like, this is the way it should be. Like, why are we forcing kids to go back and waste their time?
Yep.
This is so much better.
Yeah, it's just the difficulty spikes can get crazy too, right? So like one level you'd be like, this ain't nothing, and the next level you're like, what? I wasn't prepared for this.
You know what I'm doing? Like, we're watching a clip of Joe and Mac is playing in the background. I am realizing that it does have the rewind. I kind of forgot about that.
Oh no, did you?
Yeah. Maybe I should just teach my kids how to use the rewind so they'll never die. Here, just beat it. Like, cheap. This is very cheap. Just beat it.
Yeah. I say it's a quality of life. There's no way you can beat these games on regular mode. Don't go make their world better, Trevor.
Yeah. Leave a better world for your kids than what you have.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
With Joe and Mac.
Joe and Mac. God, lastly, it just bears a bit of mention. At that same Nintendo Direct, the cast for an animated Mario movie was announced, and much to the delight, I'd almost call it, of the internet, which just exploded with 1,000 conversations. We got called out by fellow podcast and friend of the show, Lamer Gamers. So Lamer Gamers Podcast at Lamer Gamers Cast. Just asking, who would you cast in the new Mario Bros. Movie and why? And this is to say, so this is a new animated movie from Nintendo. The cast, you have to help me fill in some of it. So Mario's going to be Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Jack Black is Bowser.
Yep.
There's who else? Help me out here. I'm missing a bunch. I'm not very good with names.
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
He's okay.
So Princess Peach is Anna Marie Taylor. What's the one that she did
from Queen's Gambit? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's doing Princess Peach. God, there's so many. Who else is going on?
Let's Google real quick. Cast. Mario movie cast.
I remember laughing through the entire direct though when they started mentioning it.
Was it Tony? Chris Pratt is Mario. Anna Taylor-Joy is Peach. Charlie Day is Luigi.
Charlie Day was a big one.
So Charlie Day from I wouldn't know the name, but I know he's from Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sunny. Yeah.
Jack Black is Bowser. Keegan Michael Key as Toad. That's hilarious. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong.
I mean,
this is really funny. It's just like
I don't understand. And then they have the original Mario guy as just like a cameo. Like you'll have a cameo. So that original voice will be like, we'll throw him in somewhere.
That was Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. He's a comedian. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
God, that's a riot. So the two things that I can't get out of my head is, as a surprise, people are suggesting, all right, surprise reveal halfway through the movie, it's William Dafoe as Waluigi, Danny DeVito as Danny DeVito as Wario.
Mm-hmm. That's a good cast one. I like that one.
Just so perfect, right? The two of them.
Again, I think it should be live action. I don't think we need this animated. It should be live action, crazy, like just like the original.
I'd be curious if they could take some cues from Sonic. Did you ever see the movie, the new live action Sonic?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Kids loved it.
That's the thing. I've heard that kids loved it, right? Generally, it's just people watched it like, hey, that's kind of fun. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems they could take some cues from that and just bring in a whole lot of CG elements, like have a whole ton of fun with it, play like kind of fast and loose with material. Well, I'll be a little bit careful because I think Sonic did fairly well with the material of it. So this might work. It could be fun.
It could. I mean, Detective Pikachu, right? Like,
true.
That did really well. I mean, I don't know what you do with Mario, and it's just going to be like a cutscene of Mario. They're going to take the games, and they'll be like, hey, Mario lost, I don't know, a star, and now he's got to go catch it. I don't know how this turns into a 90-minute film, but, we can see.
The two parallels I'll draw is what I'd be curious is if it works like Detective Pikachu, like you said, because it was Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. That's really bizarre. But I really found that came together. It's like, this is fun. Like, everybody's enjoying themselves. Like, they're putting a lot of effort into this.
Yep.
Oh, no, I forgot the one that didn't work, and I'm kind of forgetting. Oh, Angry Birds. I don't know if you've ever seen, if your kids have ever made you watch any of the Angry Bird ones.
I have not, but they've watched it multiple times.
Okay. It felt like it didn't work as much.
That's a hard one to go off of, too. Angry Birds? Like, there's even not even really a story there.
What's there's just something they had a pretty decent cast. I think Jason Sudeikis was in there, for instance. Like,
okay,
it's a pretty big cast. It was like pretty highly animated. Like, there was a lot of budget towards it, but it just kind of fell flat. So it could be done, right? Like, I think there's a way to do it, like we saw with Detective Pikachu, but it might veer off into what Angry Birds became, where it's a lot of star power, a lot of hope, and it's just, what are we doing here? This is a cutscene from a game. This doesn't feel like a worthwhile project.
I don't get it. I mean, they didn't even show a trailer for this thing. We have no idea what it looks like, and I don't know why would you announce the voice cast. I have no idea. It's so Nintendo. It's so Nintendo.
Danny DeVito, just like. And if you pay a different tier, you can unlock this extra movie.
You get premier access to our new Nintendo Plus account.
Oh, Lord. All right, so we'd love to hear from any of the gaming dads listening about this, because we will wrap up the show there. Thank you, everybody listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to get a hold of us, if you have your own choice Mario movie casting, love to. You're not going to beat William Dafoe as Waluigi. I'm sorry.
That's
it's just like
that's perfect.
It's just
perfect casting.
So good. Save him for the live action. But if you have your own ideas you'd like to shove to us, if you have any other thoughts on Nintendo's pricing tiers, if you have your own stories of your son or daughter spoiling games for you now that they have ample time and you do not, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming on Twitter. And otherwise, you can find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. We'd love to hear some stories, some tips, some ideas. If you have any kind of last-second pumpkin beers for us to try to squeeze in for our season, we can certainly see what we could do. We'd love to hear from you. If you like the podcast, you can find it on any of the major podcasting networks. So that includes iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, any of them. Subscribing and especially leaving a rating and a comment really helps out the show, along with passing along to friends and family. So we would really appreciate you doing that as we try to reach out to as many gaming dads as possible. As I said, that does it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I think Gilbert Gottfried could be cast in that Mario movie. I think he needs to be something.
He is, or he should be?
He should be.
He should be. It felt as soon as you said it, it's like, oh, that feels right. Like he's clearly in the movie, right?
Bowser's got a lot of cousins or kids or whatever that was, so like you can cast him for one of those.
Well, they created an Aladdin game, and he played Diago in the Aladdin movie.
Yep.
So just have a cross. Just bring the parrot in for one scene. Like,
There
oh,
you go.
wrong game. And he's off. And the movie's great. Just
Perfect. I love it.
we solved it. All right.
Yep.
Just because you became a dad.
Does not mean it's game over.
All right. See you next
See
week.
you later.